Despite the cruise cancellations, despite the scrapped and sold cruise ships, there are a lot of good things happening in the cruise industry, and the future is very bright. Hi there, I'm Ilana from the website lifewellcruise.com. Welcome back to my channel. This year, we have endured so much bad news, cruise news and beyond. It has been a tough one. Yet, it might seem hard to be optimistic about the future of cruising, but there is so much reason to be optimistic. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you 7 really good reasons that cruising is actually going to be better than it was before. Now, before I get started, I did want to mention that if you like this video, if you find it helpful, informative, if you got any new information at all, then please do give the video a thumbs up. I really do appreciate it. And of course, please consider subscribing to the channel. So let's get started on those 7 things that are going to be better when cruising does resume. The first thing is new protocols. Now, we often talk about the new protocols in terms of the restrictions that are going to happen. And of course, when cruising does first start up, we're definitely going to have these things: masks, social distancing or physical distancing, and even limitations on shore excursions. But those things are not going to last. However, there are new protocols that are amazing that will make the cruise experience even better as it does resume and into years beyond this. So first of all, let's talk about sanitation and disinfection. Now, cruise ships were always clean, always well disinfected. I was always actually really impressed. I'm sure you were too if you've cruised before. However, they are now using new technologies that really just didn't exist before. And the whole tourism industry is changing because they're using these new sanitation technologies. Now, beyond this, we also have, unfortunately or fortunately, we have a full serve buffet that's going to happen rather than a self-serve buffet. Now, personally, I think this is good because as much as I like casual food options and I like a buffet personally, at the same time, I think we've all seen things at the buffet that have made us go, ew. So we won't have that anymore where people are maybe touching the item and then putting it back. We've all seen a few things. So if you have a funny story, leave it in the comment below. But that is not going to happen anymore. The crew is going to be serving us from the buffet. Not a bad thing at all. Next up, the safety drill. We are not going to have that old-fashioned muster drill where we had to group together like sardines, not being able to sit, waiting for everybody to be quiet. That is something of the past. So we're not going to have that anymore. Instead, cruise lines are going to be using new technology. We know that Royal Caribbean Group is using the Muster 2.0 and Princess is using the Ocean Medallion, but new technologies are going to be used so that muster drill is, still safe, but painless. And finally, the focus on wellness and health by the cruise lines. This is something good. Now, something that they've done is they've introduced more flexible cancellation policies. Now, I hope that this actually remains because it will stop people from going on a cruise when they are really sick and they could be contagious. So I hope that cruise lines will actually keep those flexible cancellation policies where you can cancel till about 48 hours before a cruise and still get your money to be able to use towards a future cruise. Let's cross our fingers and hope on that one. Number 2, enhanced air filtration. Yes, all of the cruise lines are making that change on cruise ships where they're actually bringing in more fresh air from outside, less recycled air. They're exchanging the air in the ship, in the cabins more frequently, as well as in public areas, all things that are very important. Now, this was a huge investment for the cruise lines, which is probably why they didn't do this before. Then 2020 happened and they kind of had to because of the new protocols. But nevertheless, it is something that is very, very good. Now, different companies are using different technologies. Some of them, including Virgin, are using something called bipolar ionization. Other cruise lines are using filters, including the MERV 13, which just removes most pathogens from the air. So all of these are really, really good things and will make for a safer, cleaner, healthier environment for crew and for passengers. Number 3, enhanced medical facilities. Now, don't worry, this is not all going to be about the protocols, but this one was really important to mention. So while in the past we had a doctor on board and maybe a nurse or two, we just didn't really have great medical facilities either, and they really couldn't handle more difficult medical conditions. But now that is really changing with the new protocols. So there will be more doctors on board, more nurses, more medical professionals, and at the same time, they have better medical facilities, better medical equipment as well. And something really interesting is they're going to have a liaison because of the technologies that now everybody is using, but they're going to have a liaison on shore. So for instance, a hospital in the United States, as an example, that they'll be able to communicate with if there is a more serious illness on board. So this is something very good. And really, I think it does make us safer for cruising into the future. Number 4. Now let's get into something different, and this is new cruise ships. Yes, there are new cruise ships coming out for 2021 and 2022, and that is definitely some good news for the cruise industry. Now, we have definitely lost some cruise ships in 2020 and into 2021. They're either sold or many of them have been scrapped. So this is definitely something sad that we've seen in the cruise industry. However, many of them weren't very fuel efficient ships. They would have needed a lot of upkeep and updating. So this is something that really is, well, it's sad for the cruise industry, but having these new ships is better for the cruise industry and really is probably better for us as passengers as well. Now, not all of those cruise ships are super big, major cruise ships like the Carnival Mardi Gras, which is going to be something pretty incredible. But others are going to be smaller cruise ships like the Viking Ocean, and others are going to be medium ships like Holland America's Rotterdam. So there are definitely a wide variety of cruise ships for, well, every type of cruiser. And we also have Virgin Voyages, who is finally going to be sailing in 2021 with the Scarlet Lady. So definitely some good things on the horizon for new cruise ships. If you'd like to see more about new cruise ships, we put together a video of our top 10 cruise ships of 2021. I will leave that at the end of this video if you'd like to check that out. Now, perhaps you can let me know what cruise ship is the cruise ship that you're most looking forward to in 2021 or 2022. Please let me know in the comments below. Number 5, the vaccine is finally here and it's rolling out across many different countries. And of course, while every country has its own pace, within a few months, we're going to come to a point where the majority of people who want to be are vaccinated. At the same time, the numbers are going to come down of people who do have this virus. It is going to be really, really helpful. And this is going to be something that is going to be better for cruising in just a few months. Now, I know a lot of times people are wondering, are we going to need to have a vaccine to go on a cruise? We don't know yet. And the reality is we're still a ways away from having a vaccine passport that is sometimes talked about. Now, I know many of us feel a little bit paralyzed or like we're waiting to make our future cruise plans, at least for 2021, to see when cruising does restart and to see when the numbers are a little bit better. But this is something that really is going to be helpful to get us on our way. Number 6, cruise industry optimism. Now, it might seem crazy that the cruise industry is actually optimistic given the fact that there are these CDC protocols that are difficult. And at the time that I'm recording this, they're not even sailing yet out of the US. However, in business, they're not looking at the next month. They're looking further ahead and they are definitely optimistic for the future. So cruise lines have made sure that they've raised funds to be able to last further into this year because they know the future is definitely bright for cruising. At the same time, many cruise ports, embarkation ports, including Galveston in Texas and Port Everglades in Florida, well, they're making major renovations, major refurbishments, major investments into their cruise ports to be able to accommodate the passengers when cruising does return. We also have some exciting things in terms of itineraries on the horizon. Royal Caribbean, for instance, has the Grandeur of the Seas that is now sailing from Barbados. This is something really nice and really new. They're going to go to some cruise ports in the Caribbean that we don't often see on, well, the more mainstream lines. So this includes Trinidad and St. Vincent. And we're hearing about some optimistic possibilities of cruise lines returning to Cuba once again, once a new administration is in. All good possibilities for the future. Now, before I share number 7, I did want to mention that I have a little bonus for you at the end that you'll definitely want to hear. Number 7, ships that are better for the environment and more responsible tourism. So this is definitely something important for the cruise lines going forward, and they are investing billions of dollars into cleaner, better, more fuel efficient ships and beyond. Now, according to CLIA, cruise lines are putting in a $23.5 billion investment in new technologies, cleaner fuels to reduce carbon emissions 40% by 2030. Now, in terms of the new ships, 50% of the new ships that are going to be built are going to be running on LNG, which is that liquefied natural gas propulsion system. That was hard for me to say. Almost all the cruise ships are going to have advanced wastewater filtration systems and shoreside electricity, which is better for the cruise port communities. Number 8, and this is a bit of a bonus, value. Value isn't something that we talk about very much these days when we talk about the changes in cruising and the new protocols. So I was really happy to hear CEO of Royal Caribbean Group, Richard Fain, talk recently about the value of cruising when he was asked about if the pricing of cruising is going to increase when cruises do resume. And of course, all of these changes we know is going to cost the cruise lines a lot of money, and they have to recoup, well, all of the money that they've lost. However, what I was happy about is he talked about how they know that the value of cruising has to remain. It has to be there. They know that cruising is a really good value, but it's an affordable vacation for people. So I think if we can look forward to something, it is the fact that cruising will remain a good price and a good value. And something to keep in mind is even though we've seen prices increase for 2022 and maybe a little bit beyond or 2021, at the same time, when we do see cruises really resume, they are going to need to have some promotions to get people back cruising again and to entice them, but as well to have new people start cruising again. And that value is going to need to continue to be there. Please let me know what you think. If you think the value is going to be there for cruising, if there are changes that you think, like me, are really positive, and if you think the future of cruising is bright, well, let me know, please, what you think in the comments below. Now, if you did enjoy this video, please do give it a thumbs up. I really do appreciate it. And please do subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. I would love to have you here as part of the Lifewell Cruise community. Happy future cruising.